Right, guys, we have Portal gameplay right now. And this is a showcase of some of the modes that you can actually play in Battlefield 6 Portal. Now, as soon as I saw this, I immediately thought someone's made a game mode out of the Cairo roof exploits. Which is technically true, but this is Portal gameplay exclusively. Now, we didn't get to play Portal. We were only given kind of like footage of something that the DICE members and the playtesters have made themselves. This is a game mode where I think you are on the roofs of Cairo and they've added additional assets and you have to grab supplies. And it seems like there's multiple teams. So it's like it says supplies with team 3, you're on team 2. And yeah, it's quite funny how they already knew that the roofs on Cairo were able to be ran around on like this. But the thing, my question is, are you still going to be able to do that? But yeah, an interesting first glimpse. Top of the world. Now, we knew that this was going to be available in the game, right? It's going to be an only up. There's going to be lots of these, which is basically jump maps, movement maps, parkour maps, whatever you want to call them, where you have to get to the top of a mountain or get to the top of a map. We knew there was going to be loads of stuff like this. I think we all knew that this was going to happen. Everyone will probably make their own. Well, after all, why not? You can do challenges. This one seems to have like... It seems like you're able to shoot enemies, though. So if you notice, sometimes they're getting shot at, which makes it even harder. And I don't know if it's one team is defending and one team's attacking, or if both teams are trying to climb up this or scale this tower at the same time. Basically. Yeah, this was in labs. Well, there you go. Well, you didn't know that. And then look, they get to the top. They get to the top, and it seems like then they start fighting and shooting each other. And if you fall off, you can just get back on. When you kill someone, you teleport to their location. Don't ask me how I know. You definitely didn't play in labs. That is just coincidence. You could just guess. So what you're saying is if you manage to kill someone running away higher than you, you switch positions with them. Interesting. Also, I don't actually know what structure this is. Someone's made the Battlefield 6 Eiffel Tower. And then look, they get to the top, and then they start fighting at the top. But I don't really see the point of why are they fighting at the top? It says object. Oh, so I think you have to climb all the way to the top and then defend it, and then your team wins. Vehicle races. Yeah, we knew this was going to be a thing. And you can shoot your enemy you're racing against, apparently. I think we even saw this in the teasers, something similar to this. But I also think we're missing... There was a game mode we saw which was more like where there was players like stationed on like a man-made pyramid of HESCO sandbags. And then they had RPGs, and it was like jets versus rockets. So the engineers were all sitting on these like towers, and then the jets are trying to hit them, and then the guys are shooting, which I thought would be more interesting to showcase. I don't know that. Now guys, this is very important. Can you guess? This map may feel very, very similar to something else you've played in another game. See if you can.
Get to that RV point.
See if you can... I mean, by the way, I literally talked about this the other week, and I was like, yeah, there seems like there might be people remaking maps for other games. Maybe you've seen this map before somewhere, guys. Especially this bit. This is the bit where I noticed. And I immediately realized that I've played this map before. No, guys. This is Bust. This is Bust 2. Legally distinct Bust 2. As we've already labeled it. But it's cool that this is the biggest showcase of Portal, in my opinion, because it's showing that you can literally make entire maps from essentially just base assets. Although they put A in the wrong place. Like, what, everyone knows that there should be a climb up there, but I'm just saying. Holdout. Another game mode. This one I didn't get to see. So, one guy with a gun. And it looks like these are AI. These aren't players. And I think it's just you versus the AI. And the AI just continually spawns almost just like a challenge. No, because there's no player. These aren't players. These are AI. So this is more like just a spawning survival. Team redeploys. Look, cash remaining at the top left. Team redeploys remaining at the top left. So I'm guessing you're not supposed to do this solo. You're supposed to do it with multiple players. This I'm less interested in. I think this is the sort of thing that you could make in 2042, Paul. This isn't anything crazy. Horde mode, that's the one. Yeah, this is kind of like, this is alright. Do I think people will play these modes? Yes. I think you have to understand that this is the kind of absolute base core level that Portal stuff can be made with, right? I think that especially with AI coding and Godot, is it Godot? So this is kind of what we had in Portal, which is where you were able to, I'm pretty sure this is basically the same UI and they've just changed it for Battlefield 6. This is where you pick the maps for your server. And this is how you would also make your own Portal server, by the way. So I don't think this is actually Godot yet. This is just how you would make a normal Portal match in just like 2042. And eventually it goes into the much more in-depth coding and change it, like things that you can actually do with the editor, which we didn't have in Portal. Portal used to just be that you could change the game, all of the variables. That's it. All you could do is change variables in 2042. So in Battlefield 6, you can do this, but eventually it will also show the level editor as well, which is the most important part. So yeah, you could already do all this stuff. And that's how any Portal server in 2042 was done. And I made a couple, but anything else? I think this is just going through all of the, or not all of them, just a lot of the settings. I'm skipping through. Which gun? Yeah, they had this for 2042 as well. You can pick which guns are available for which teams. Yeah, you had this for 2042. You can, what's this? Experience image. Oh, so you pick like a thumbnail for the server. The spatial editor. Now we're cooking. So immediately, straight off the bat, it seems that you can place your own assets, and most importantly, you can scale them up and down. Which I didn't, well, obviously I thought that would be a nice feature. But also, what the hell have they built here? It looks like that you can actually, you can maybe mess with the terrain as well, unless these are all just assets that they've just placed around. But I think what people are probably going to make, if they're able to scale everything up, you're probably going to be able to make like, where like miniature game maps, where you can make a giant version of a map that already exists and then have people play around it almost like you're a little mini soldier. This is the jet race, I think, that they're showcasing here, but in the Portal editor. And this is where all of the serious like changes and modes are going to be made, as opposed to just the normal 2042 editor, right? And again, Jack, in his infinite wisdom, actually said, what they should have done is they should have found like 50 Fortnite game mode editors, paid them 10 grand, or maybe even set them a task of saying, oh, we'll pay you 5 grand to make your own mode, and whoever's mode is the most popular at launch will give you like 50 grand or something. That's what they should have done, but I was like, yeah, it's probably too late now. This is obviously Firestorm, but obviously in grey box mode. Or brown clay box mode, I guess. And this is the most interesting part of Portal by far. And this is all in a web browser. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so look. Is this in a web browser? It just says Godot Engine at the top there. But this is where I think the real kind of interesting parts of Portal are going to come from. It doesn't show you here either, because this is basically just an overview of the level editor. This is the climbing mode. And what map is this? Is this just... Oh, this is Liberation Peak, I think. Yeah, so this is just Liberation Peak. I'm not sure if you can mess with the terrain, but it does say terrains down here. And it's got scripts. You can mess with the AI. You can actually code AI behavior in this engine, apparently. So people will be able to make campaign-like experiences. But that's the most interesting part by far. Like, I know that these basic modes, because if you think about it, obviously with the asset editor, this is the most basic version of like the Fortnite editor that you had before. And this is Mirac Valley, by the way, in the editor. Crazy that it doesn't like lag, but I guess it's just... Oh, there you go. Is it going to replay the same one? Yeah, so, guys, what do you think? Like, I think that it's going to... The problem I have, and this is again, there's something going back to what Jack said. It's going to be a bit neglected on launch, because there's so many things launching, right? You've got the campaign, day one. You've got the multiplayer, day one. You have Portal, day one. But no one's going to be asked or even able to make something interesting for like weeks after it's launched, which is why it would have been nice for them to say, oh, here, let's get some people in who know how to make interesting modes, pay them 6 months in advance to actually make some insane modes for launch. Because I think what's going to happen is we're going to have this influx of players. Everyone's going to go, oh, you can only play only up and tag at this point. And then I think it's going to be neglected a bit. But then in like 6 months' time, when obviously the popularity of the game has died down a bit, we're going to have like some absolutely insane game modes. It would be more neglected if the BR released with everything else. Yeah, allegedly the BR is releasing like 3 weeks after launch. So we'll see how... And apparently, I don't know if you're going to have access to the BR in this mode as well. Because obviously these maps are all the multiplayer maps, and we know how big those ones are, right? But if you have access to the Battle Royale map as well, I mean, you can think about, like, imagine if Warzone gave you access to custom 64-player modes within the Battle Royale engine. Again, I don't know if that's going to be a thing, but you can imagine what you can get away with. BR areas will be available, but not all of the map. Yeah. But yeah, I was just thinking about, like, they show... There's screenshots of another Portal mode that for some reason they don't show in this showcase, which is the one where, again, they're on this, like, big HESCO thing, the HESCO barrel, not a barrel, HESCO sandbag towers, and then the engineers are shooting down the jets, and there's, like, 50 jets flying through the air, all trying to kill the engineers on top, which I thought would be a good mode to showcase for this showcase, but you know, it is what it is. And yeah, snipers versus jeeps or whatever. And there was another one as well. And then also there was another screenshot, which was... I'll show you. In fact, I'll show you the screenshot after this is finished for the second time. There's another screenshot where it's guys on built-up towers, and then like 100 either players or AI with sledgehammers. And then the players that are on top of the towers are obviously trying to shoot the guys with sledgehammers before they destroy the towers that they're standing on. So those are the kind of game modes where I'm like, well, because these are like, you know, pretty simplistic. They've kind of like put up some assets and just made some little like objectives for you to go through. And the other one's obviously just kind of like a only up game mode. But the modes where it's going to be kind of like player versus player oriented, where you're pitting people against each other in like different modes. That's going to be the most interesting thing for me. Also, if people come up with like puzzles, I guess not puzzles, but you know, like jump maps, where you're going to have to use the gameplay's, I guess, nerfed movement to actually go through it. Battlefield just tweeted a Portal video with extra stuff not in this video. Is it on, maybe if they've uploaded it to YouTube, we can watch that as well. And here's the legendary Bust 2 map. I kind of like the jet racing idea. Yeah, I think that the the racing maps, that's what I'm saying. They're quite basic concepts, though. I think the magic of Battlefield Portal is going to be in the much more curated experiences. You know what I mean? Imagine you could make modes like Gunmaster. Yeah, I assume Gunmaster is going to be there like what, day 5? Gunmaster will be in almost immediately. Any kind of game mode that's a classic, like sticks and stones, like throwing knives and bows or whatever. I don't know what else do they have. Throwing knives, melee weapons. They'll probably have that. Scouts knives, maybe they'll have. Jump maps, as I said before. Remaking of all the maps that we don't have in this. Although I will say I haven't seen people being able to place like buildings, or I haven't seen any examples of them placing buildings from, like, let's say a building from Cairo, like this map. It seems like you can place the normal assets, but not the things that are like destructible. You know what I mean? I've not seen an example of that yet. So you can make modes on your own. Yes, the whole point is that you're going to be able to access that Godot screen that I showed at the end, the level editor. Will this have full XP and battle pass progression? I doubt it. They'll probably have modes where, depending on how much you change, because they're going to try and battle people being able to abuse XP farming, for sure. That's going to be... Everyone knows that if you have Portal modes, everyone's just going to try and use them to XP farm anyway, but they're going to obviously just find ways to stop people from doing that. I hope you'll be able to place the destructible buildings. That's what I don't know. Because I feel like you could just crash a server by putting down 100 destructible buildings and blowing them up all at the same time, right? Surely that's where they have to draw the line. They have to be like, do it. They have to optimize it, is what I'm trying to say. I'm skipping through this because this was just the server parameters. The spatial editor is the most interesting part. If you're XP farming on launch, the way they'll balance it is they'll just say that you have a cap. If you level up your characters or guns, or if you're leveling up your character or guns in Portal, they'll just say, oh, you can only level 2 levels a day in Portal, and then you have to play the game normally, right? That's what they'll do. Verified mode allows full XP. You make a map, but the rules are approved. Yeah. Let me see what... has Battlefield actually posted a Portal video as well? See if there's extra gameplay. Jack's posted gameplay and impressions. Do they have... Has Battlefield actually posted anything? No, they've only posted the campaign trailer. You're saying on Twitter they might have something. Let me have a look. Let's have a look. You're saying they've actually posted a video. Oh, it's only a 37-second video, but it does show... It's actually like a proper trailer. I wonder if they have any more gameplay, or they'll post any like dev diaries or anything. Yeah, in the Twitter, I'll show you guys this Twitter post. In the Twitter post, they have more of the stuff I was expecting. This seems maybe like older gameplay. Yeah, they got the rocket thing that I was talking about. The jets versus engineers. A more destructible Verdansk map. Okay, so they've already shown that someone's remade Dust 2, by the way. We've already seen that. Okay, maps that are going to be there. I'm going to say week 1 maps that are going to be there. We're going to get Grand Bazaar with Cairo assets, if that's possible. We're going to get... Someone's going to make Scuffed Damavan Peak. That's a given. Noshar canals, that's probably easily remade because they'll just use shipping containers. What else? Yeah, no, I'm just saying these are the ones that I just know that people are going to remake. We're going to get Rust from Call of Duty, Wake Island probably. Yeah, that depends though. Are you going to be able to adjust the terrain? I don't know because I saw that they've been able to place assets, but I don't know if you're allowed to change the terrain of a map. They haven't shown that. So we'll have to see how that goes. Right, here you go. So here's the Twitter trailer. Create endless possibilities. Showing the assets being placed. In fact, this actually has a lot more stuff in it. That was the thing that I was showcasing. The only up mode. Play with full XP. The roof mode. Some sort of vehicle dodge. There you go. This is the one I was talking about. The jets versus engineers. I wish I could go through this at a slower, or playback speed. I'm just going to turn it off and just go through it in slow-mo. Okay, so straight away, this is it seems like the tanks are dropping from the sky and you have to dodge the tanks, right? So you're like running from point A to point B whilst there's tanks raining down from the sky and you have to try and not die. Or I'm trying to work out what the hell's going on in this. But yeah, they're hitting the floor and exploding. And you're on your ATVs. Okay, right. So it's vehicle rain. It's vehicle rain, and you have to dodge tanks falling from the sky that explode instantly on launch. That's kind of sick. And then it was... Oh, like the GTA mode where you shoot vehicles while enemy arms runs out the map. Yeah. So this, if I remember correctly, this is maybe Cairo, or this could be just a base map. I don't know if this is actually Cairo, but it could be. It looks like it. I don't remember Cairo looking like this though. It didn't have any like tall towers or anything. Endless possibilities. This is, I think, Liberation Peak. See, this is interesting. What is this? This isn't Mirak Valley. This is just a big cube in the sky that they've like built from scratch. And they're putting in the crane from Mirak Valley, but this is actually just a big cube that they've just kind of made. This is Mirak Valley though, and that's what the construction site looks like. And they're just putting HESCO things down, HESCO walls. This is the default map. I don't think this is New York. I'm pretty sure this is the default map. So there's a map that I think comes with Portal. That's like a default just city. I'm pretty sure. I don't think this is New York. I think this is just the default map. This is Liberation Peak. And then there's that giant digger again. This was the only up mode where you can shoot enemies and you can shoot each other for some reason. I feel like this is going to be too easy to shoot each other. No one will ever get to the top. Asset marketplace is going to be lit if we could share assets. I don't think you can share assets. That's where I think the limit is. I think you can only use the assets within the game, but you can code things onto the assets. So this is like a zombie. That looks more like a zombie horde mode, but maybe with players. Yeah, so this is like zombie horde mode for sure. And then this was the Cairo roof hopping game mode. Which is funny that they've turned that into an actual mode, or that was always the case, and people just realized you could do it in the normal multiplayer. That one is the one. This is the one that we saw in the original multiplayer trailer, where it's players running up a 45-degree angle, kind of like a GTA mode, and then vehicles are just being thrown, like the carcasses of blown up vehicles just fly down this ramp, and you have to dodge them, which is actually sick. But again, I don't know why we didn't get more gameplay like that from the from the B-roll. Now, this is the game mode I was talking about. Oh, God, I'm glad I had that off with the audio. This is what I was talking about. So, engineers on the top of a HESCO wall in the middle whilst the jets fly around, and then you have to, as an engineer, you've got to shoot the jets as they fly past. But I don't know, it doesn't seem like the jets are trying to fly into them. It looks like they're just flying past. I think the whole point is you're supposed to fly the jet directly into them and hit them with the body of the jet. But I don't know how hard that would be. Or are they breaking the tower? No, I don't think this has destruction. I'll show you a screenshot of what I was talking about earlier. And this one is... I'm not really sure what this one is. This one's like you fly through the big circles. And this is on... And by the way, this is on Cairo. They have jets on Cairo too. And then the things are blowing up. Yeah, I'm not really sure what that one is. Right, let me show you a screenshot now that I thought was interesting. Let me see the screenshot. So, if we go into my downloads, is it this one? No. Is it this one? No. This one? Yeah, it's this one. So, have a look at this screenshot. Okay. So this, again, I don't know why they don't have footage of this, but this is kind of like tower defense. And I don't know if these are players or if these are AI, but essentially they've built little barricades and little towers. And I'm pretty sure the goal is you have to kill the guys with the sledgehammers before they break down your towers and then break your defenses and run into your, like, there's like a little man-made fort. Which again, I don't know why we don't have more gameplay of this stuff, because this is the stuff that's more interesting. So yeah, like almost like again like a horde mode, but obviously imagine if all of these people were players. Like if I did a Portal weekend or something, and we just found all of the modes where it's like, okay, me versus my entire community, where I sit on a MG at the back, and then they have to break into the castle and steal something or something. You know what I mean? These are the modes that are gonna make it interesting. Was there anything? I don't know if there's any other like screenshots, but that's what I'm saying. I think I've covered like pretty much all of the big modes that they're showcased, at least. Zombies with sledgehammer, yeah. So I think the whole point is they can actually. I think they can actually break these towers down, or that there's something here that they can break down. So yeah, it's looking good. Either way, I'm very excited for this stuff. Do you know if you can collaborate on maps and modes in Portal? You'd have to ask someone, if I'm honest, you'd have to ask someone that has done a lot in 2042 Portal, because I never really touched much of the tools with 2042 Portal. If you were able to share it on 2042 Portal, then I can guarantee... I think you can share... I think what you can do is you can work on a Portal experience, right? And then you can send that Portal experience to someone else to then work on, but I don't think you can work on the same experience at the same time. Do you know what I mean? So you can basically make an experience. You can make an experience, I think. You can package it up and say, here's the experience I've made, and then someone else can take that experience and then change it themselves. I don't think you can collaborate and work on something at the same time. That's my thought process on it. Did I stream using Portal in 2042? I did, but like, we didn't. I think what did I made like a snipers only Portal mode, and that was fine. But again, it was, you know, it was alright. Nothing to write home about. A couple of people I know, like Two Angry Gamers, they made what did they make? They made a red light, green light mode. So they actually coded in logic where every 10 seconds the game has to stop and you're not allowed to shoot or move, and then it goes green light, and now you can run around and shoot again, and then it would go red light, and then you have to stop and move. But like you're all trying to just, it's basically TDM but with a red light, green light system, which was pretty cool. There was loads of gun games. There was people made loads of like firing ranges as well. Can we make a third-person BR mode? Probably. Well, as I said, we don't know how much access to the Battle Royale assets that you have. You know, we genuinely don't know how that works at the moment. But yeah, I mean, all of these modes look pretty good, but as I said, it feels like in this B-roll that we've been given, it's not a lot of the crazy modes that they're advertising yet. Is this all one video? No, this was footage that I was given by EA. I was preceded it, but obviously we weren't allowed to show it until now. I've heard that there'll be assets from BR, but that's what I'm saying. Where from? Like, are we 100% certain on that? The first thing I'm going to try from Paul, aircraft gun range. I mean, yeah, for sure. Can you make maps from Battlefield 2? Yeah. I think I already showed it, but in this video, they literally make Dust 2. Legally distinct Dust 2 from CS. So you'll be able to use the assets, or a very limited subset of the assets from the game, but you can make whatever you want out of the gray, like, base. What do they call it? Was it earlier or is it later? It's this one. So you see these gray concrete slabs. You can basically create whatever you want out of these concrete slabs. And this even has logic. Look, so this is the beginning of the round. You know, obviously legally distinct, but you know, at the beginning of a round of Counter-Strike, you buy your weapons. And it seems like at the beginning of this round of Battlefield Strike, the wall comes down and stops you basically from leaving spawn. So they've actually coded some logic in to this bomb defusal mode. But yeah, it seems like you can basically make whatever you want out of these concrete slabs. But I think they've basically just used the same asset for every single wall. So this asset here and the floor, the walls, and even these archways are all made with the one concrete panel.
Danger close.
You see what I mean? So they've literally just taken the same asset and just reused it over and over and over again. Now look, we do actually have some houses here. And this is clearly the Liberation Peak map in the background. But I don't know if these buildings were already here and they've just snuck the Dust 2 map into it, or if you can actually put these houses. Do you know what I mean? Were these houses already here, or have they been able to basically take the house assets? Because you would have thought, or I would have thought, that they would have more of these house assets around as opposed to just the concrete. You know what I mean? Please let us have extensions for Portal so we can import terrain 3D models. That's where I think they're not going to let you do that. Because people will be importing anime Catgirl models, and then you can't control what people add to the game. I think they're going to allow you to use the assets. They're going to allow you to code stuff within reason, but they're not going to allow you to use third-party assets. I'm pretty sure. The houses are added 100%. The A-site graffiti spot was accurate with the houses. Maybe. Also copyright? Yeah. I think the only thing is, well, yeah, and copyright. But the thing is, I don't know. I think they could possibly cease and desist. But, like, I'm not sure whether if you make a Counter-Strike map, whether they have any legal grounds to sue either Battlefield or yourself. Because it's just, you're just putting this stuff together and you're not calling it that. Do you know what I mean? I don't really know if they'd have legal grounds to sue you just because someone in your game happened to make a map that looks like a map from another game. Unless you were trying to associate it. There's no trademark, yeah. Can we make simple locked weapons playlists on normal maps? Yeah, you could already do that. You can already do that, yeah. Yeah, just don't make a Nintendo map. Do not make Rainbow Road, guys. You'll ruin it for everyone else. Do not recreate Pikachu. Actually, I guess Pikachu's different. Do not recreate Mario using 3D assets in the game. You will ruin it for everyone. Yeah, this is the best part. Anyway, I think I've showcased pretty much everything I've got here, unless anyone has any other screenshots or things that they're going to share. Or a giant schlong. Yeah, so this is the part that I found interesting. This is the most interesting image in the entire thing. Are these assets, or is this terrain? You see this? So are these just individual bits of asset that they're adding to the top of a map that already pre-exists? Or is this actually a terrain tool? That's what it looks like. It looks like custom terrain. It does, yeah. Or is it more of a thing that they've given you chunks of terrain that you can use as assets? Do you know what I mean? Like these rocks. Are these just rock assets that you're allowed to place and then they've scaled them up as opposed to having access to the terrain tool? I think the parkour stuff won't do so well because the Battlefield 6 movement doesn't really work with it. In 2042, you could change the behavior of movement. Like, you could stop people from crouching or sliding, etc., etc. So maybe they'll allow you to. That's insane that they bridged Godot. Yeah. As I said, I think Portal's going to take a while, but it's going to pop off after a couple of months. I don't think this is going to be the main focus for, like, the first 3 months or whatever. But eventually, people are going to create some really cool stuff within the designer. And also, this is just cool. Is this not sick? Is this not like kind of... Don't get me wrong, 2042 Portal, I always thought was always like a good start. And I was kind of like, oh, they're never going to do Portal again after this because it just wasn't as successful as I thought they'd hope it would be. But this is just like, I feel like this is just the start. And if Battlefield's doing it, okay, even if Battlefield's doing it, does this not set an industry standard to kind of start allowing your community to access the tools to create their own stuff within the game? Don't get me wrong, obviously Fortnite started with it, but I think this is a good sign for the industry that a massive AAA FPS developer is finally giving you access to actually make your own experiences and allow other people to play them. Yeah. Anyway, I think I've basically showcased everything I wanted to show, unless I missed anything. But all I'm saying is, it's a good start. You know, it's a good start, and I'm glad they're doing it. And they're gonna loads of people are gonna remake maps, and it's only a positive in my eyes. Basically, Parasol Storm, yeah, why not? Make an extraction game. Why not? Make your own mini royale. Anything. So I'm looking forward to it. As I said. And we're also getting it 6 months before the release of GTA 6, which will probably have a very similar system, but this will tide you over until GTA 6's random custom modes as well. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Either way, as I said, I'm very interested to see what people come up with later on. But yeah, I will be back soon with more memes. All right. There you go. Right.